everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Sit Downs with yours truly, R. Adrianis. Wanted to do the sit downs today on something we've kind of talked about already. I mentioned in a video previously that something about reading and how, for me, I really enjoy reading different types of genres, always exposing yourself to, just a vast field of text. Don't always read one type of genre. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the consequences and advantages of reading just the one genre. So we're going to flip it. We're going to flip the thing that I like. We're going to switch from diversity and we're going to go, to just reading one thing. So, because it came up to me, oh yeah, you guys like the blue now? I did the video, or did the vlog entry earlier this week, and I really liked the result. It looked really good on camera, so I'm like, yeah, we'll go with yes, but whatever. Anyway, back to the sit downs. So yeah, reading one genre. What are the advantages of it? What are the disadvantages of it? I'll be very straight right now. I think that there are more disadvantages to reading only one genre than there are advantages. With any person who's reading, when you read, you're educating yourself. You're always exposing yourself to material that will resonate with you, that will help you with comprehension, not just reading comprehension. We know obviously you're reading, so you have reading comprehension, but just comprehension of the world around you. It helps you develop kind of that ability to what would be to, I guess, process information, throughout the world, throughout your interactions, and exposing yourself to different types of texts, different types of literature, or not even just literature, just reading different things always makes that better. So yeah, like I said, I think it's more of a disadvantage to read one genre because you're stuck to one plane of thought, which is unfortunate. You never want to be caught in that rut. You always want to expand. You always want to diversify and make your thinking more dynamic. And I firmly believe in that. Not to criticize those who only read one genre. It's not to say that they're, because they read that they're incapable of a more dynamic plane of thought. It's probably, maybe it's just they really enjoy that genre. They don't want to read anything else, and that's perfectly fine too. But okay, so the advantages of reading one genre. Let's be charitable with this. From the get go, I guess. Well, not really. I already started. Reading one genre. I had a friend earlier this week who was telling me of. Okay, should I say a friend of a friend? My friend told me that his friend, that she was very fond of reading young adult, the young adult genre. So, what's popular out there for young adult readers? We have Hunger Games, which is obviously the one that always raises the flag. It's the top seller. It's very popular. The new movie is gonna come out. I'm so excited. And then what else do you have? You have Divergent, the Divergent series, which is very popular. What else? We have Twilight. The Fault in Our Stars, which has become getting a lot of acclaim, and I've been hearing so much about it. I know the book's been out for quite a while, but it's another one right there. And all of these books, the young adult genre is one of the ones I think is one of the most dangerous genres to delve in, especially if it's going to be the only genre you read. Apparently, this friend of a friend, she reads only young adult, or she reads mostly young adult. So like I from what I've heard or from what I've discovered is is about 90% of her reading is young adult, which is fine. Maybe if the 10% hopefully is just like groundbreaking work that's not young adult, then maybe she can compensate. But yeah, young adult, it's just it has certain sensibilities, a lot of very common concepts that just they don't really break any bounds. It stays within its own arena, and that's never good. Often young adult is about getting older, transcending one's youthful position, overcoming the adversities of a young life, things like that. Or even young love, which is always a common concept. When you're a teenager, what do you care about? You care about looking good. You care about the person you like. That's oftentimes two of the major things are in a teenager's or prepubescent's life. Yeah, and so when I heard about this friend of mine, or this, why do I keep saying friend? This friend of a friend who only reads young adult, I was thinking like, that's great, but I feel like when these people read these books or these genres, they feel like that's the only thing that's in existence. Like they need to read other things because it's really great. But the advantage I would imagine of reading only the one genre would probably be just such a coherent knowledge of that genre. I mean, obviously, if that's all you're reading, you know so much about it, and you're able to discuss anybody, or discuss with anybody about that genre under the table. Like, it's just, it's very impressive. They obviously know what they're talking about because, they've read tons and tons of stories within that genre. I remember when I was in school, we took classes that were genre oriented. So you'd have, or they would be either genre oriented or era oriented. And that's another thing. Like reading only one era is kind of bad. It's a little bit better because you may be reading different genres from one era, so it does diversify a little bit more. But yeah, you would either read, you would have a class that was oriented towards one genre, one era, and then the teacher, that's all they would talk about. But what was good is because once you left that class, you would go to another class that had a different genre or a different era that they would talk about, and you would read books only for that. And that's why it was really good because people who do get that kind of education, they can diversify. And I think that's one of the key things with younger readers, people coming up, or people who have been readers for years. They need to do that. They need to apply their reading kind of the way that universities apply their curriculum. Read other things. It's really good for you. Like, trying not to be not to be snobbish in that respect. It's like just I think it's a really good paradigm for people to read as much as possible. Yeah, obviously if you're gonna be in one genre, sure, you're gonna know everything about that genre because you expose yourself to it. If you love children's literature, you're gonna read all of that, and you're gonna be able to know every facet of that genre. Or if you read science fiction, you know science fiction like the back of your hand, or fantasy, or romance. Those are all great genres in their own respects. They have their own fundamental qualities to them, but obviously, if you only read the one, that's all you're going to ever know. So you need to culminate your reading. You need to make sure that it's all put together. It's like a collage. You want to make it colorful. You don't want to make it um, one spectrum of color. You don't want it just like, if you make a collage, you put so many different pictures, you put so many different colors into it. And that's how I think people should apply their reading. Don't read just one genre. It is good. You become very knowledgeable with that one genre, but in the end, you kind of you reach a ceiling, and I think it's just good because there's other stories out there. There's a lot of great books that may not be in the genre of your preference. You may never know that you would have liked that book if you never picked it up and read it. So ultimately, yeah, I did talk about the advantages of the one genre a little bit less than I did talk about the disadvantages, didn't I? Yeah, sorry about that, folks. But I guess in closing, like I just mentioned, there's nothing wrong with reading only one genre. Sometimes that might just be what you like. But if you are so inclined, read something new. Expand your mind. Try to get into a different zone other than your comfort zone because you never know that you might like something if you don't try it. It sounds like that old parent expression, for kids who don't want to eat their vegetables or eat, strange foods. You won't know it until you try it. That sort of deal. Go out there, you won't know it until you try it. But hope this has been a good video for everybody. Hope everyone's having a great week. And I'll be doing a review for The Halloween Tree this weekend because I finished reading it by Ray Bradbury. So keep a lookout for that. And we'll just maybe do a vlog entry or so. But don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll be in touch, everyone. Peace and love.